Oh, good morning. Welcome back to the Backyard Professor Chess videos. I just got back from snow and plowing snow, something like that. The cold freezes my brain. As promised, I'm going to show this game by Bobby Fischer and Yefim Geller. Now, Geller had been one of the leading Soviet players for years, and he won the USSR championship in 1955. And this was the swiftest defeat Geller had ever experienced, and it left the whole Soviet regime in complete shock. So let's take a look. King pawn, holy crap, I'm used to the black, I'm used to the switch. So, typical of Fischer. King, pawn opening, pawn, king, 4, pawn, king, 4. This is the old annotation. I'm just going to take this straight out of Frank Brady's book, The Life and Times of Bobby Fischer. And he came knight, king, bishop 3, and knight, queen, bishop 3. And then the bishop comes up here to knight 5, and the pawn comes to queen, rook 3. And the bishop decides it doesn't want to be taken, so Bobby moved his bishop back, which is pretty standard stuff. And then the pawn, queen 3. So this is a typical Ruy-Lopez, except this is Bobby Fischer playing the Ruy-Lopez. And since he always played the pawn to king 4, he was really adept at the Ruy-Lopez, of course. Here he castles, gets that over with, and now bishop comes up to knight 5, yes. And he says, okay, make your decision right now. Let's see what you're going to do. Geller drops his bishop back. And they say this was kind of unusual at the time, and Fischer just continues on completely unfazed. He doesn't even care about any innovation by Geller whatsoever, which is what makes this game part of its charm. Geller was trying to throw Fischer out of his track, and Fischer just went blithely on, disregarding every kind of innovation and threat that Geller threw at him, which is really remarkable. Now, notice Fischer has castled, and now he's using all of his pawns in a blitzkrieg against that bishop. This is kind of a different look, isn't it? You kind of go, oh, wow. Very interesting, yes? Very interesting indeed. And the queen is over here too. And he's playing the Soviet strongest chess player, and he is just absolutely going blitzoid. Look at all these pawn moves of Fischer. But the central pawn, queen 4, that's a sweet move here. He's going to sacrifice the king pawn, but his position is going to completely blast Geller off the board. This is so remarkable how this works. So the bishop does take the pawn, of course. That was not a mistake on Fischer's part. He said, I don't need that pawn. And it's amazing what he does. So, queen, knight, queen 2. He's going to say, good morning, Mr. Bishop. Would you like to go for a walk? And he said, yes, I'm going to go right back home. Bishop, knight 3. Good idea. Now, the bishop goes ahead and takes the knight. And pawn takes the bishop, puts the king in check for ever such a brief, beautiful moment. And now Fischer eliminates one of Geller's central pawns. Yes, it's typical. And Geller eliminates one of Fischer's central pawns, but you notice Fischer has an open file now. Yeah? Just something you might want to keep in mind. Not that anyone ever works in open files in Grandmaster games, you know. I've never seen it before. So white has won back his pawn and has a huge lead in development here. And haven't I commented on that before? Develop, develop, develop. The sooner the better. The more pieces you get into play, the more active and better your game will be. Yes, well, let Bobby Fischer show us yet again another beautiful example of this fantastic idea, right? Now bishop decides, Geller says, okay, all right, you want to develop? Let's develop. And now the knight takes this bishop, and that was something apparently that wasn't being expected. It kind of surprised Geller from the comments. And the comments themselves are brief. I know this game has probably been analyzed in other books right now. I'm just simply showing you the game to show you how crisp, clean, and just systematic step-by-step principles Fischer destroyed Geller here. Rook, king, 1, check. Imagine that. Nobody ever does this outdated move anymore, right? So the king goes to bishop 1 and knight to bishop 4. Let me make sure I get the right side here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm so used to the algebraic equation. This old stuff is, sometimes it goofs you up, right? And now Geller goes pawn, king, rook 4. Now he's going to start breaking up Fischer's Kingside, which Fischer apparently has aided him in doing, right? I mean, talk about crazy. And now he wants to attack Fischer, so here comes Geller, right? Well, the problem is, knight takes the bishop. But that bishop was protected, yes, but that was Bobby Fischer's knight. And he takes the remaining bishop of Geller out of the game, yes. And now he brings in his bishop. This is, you know, Fischer was known for his bishops. I'll just put it at that and leave it at that. This is so perfectly vintage Fischer. And now Geller. Now, it looks like Geller has central pawns, but that's all he has. So what? At this point, it's irrelevant. And I've shown this before. Notice how the geometry of a kingside attack works. The angle on the triangle and the straight edge. That's classic geometry of a kingside attack, right? Here comes Fischer. Again, on a partial open file, and yet you can't help but think that's where his eye's going, right? But he did put the queen out so that she had more influence. And they said this is the crushing move. And here's why. Because he does he does threaten queen rook 3 check, which is the, notice the anatomy of a kingside attack. That'd be a vicious, boy, that'd be a tough one. And he threatens queen knight 7, gaining the 7th rank, which we've never ever seen anyone do before, right? So Fischer is playing complete amateur rookie chess here with this guy. Doesn't know what the heck he's doing, right? Well, Geller is trying to get counter-attacking going. Yes, definitely. You got to hurry and start hitting the king because Fischer's already way after you. He's stupidly like an amateur using open files and the diagonals. I mean, nobody attacks that way. That's silly. And he's taking advantage of the 7th rank, something that never wins you a game whatsoever in any manner that I have ever seen before. In fact, if I were a chess commentator, I would have just railed against how Fischer handled this program because he's not doing anything that other grandmasters do, and that's why he almost lost this game, right? Watch what the effect of having the 7th rank does for you. This is priceless. This is so magnificent. Now, check out this. A discovered check. Now, sincerely, we know it's Fischer and all that. It's a foregone conclusion. But if this were us, if we didn't quite grasp the mindset of Fischer, wouldn't that kind of make you think, oh, crap. I mean, the rook is right here. Bump over. The queen is right there. Geez Louise, I'm getting close to getting clobbered, right? Yeah. No, watch. Now, Rook gets activated to queen 1, right? Unfortunately, he needs to be here, but this file happens to be owned already, and it's private property, so bummer for Geller. And then he goes queen knight for check, and that's where Geller resigned. Because there's no way avoiding checkmate is possible now. And here's the theme. Here's what I want to show you. If the rook would have went there anyway, this is the final variation. This will show you why he couldn't put the rook there. Then the rook, of course, takes the rook. Check. Yeah, of course. And the king's going to take the rook without question, of course. And then the other rook comes in. Rook, king 1, check. Yes. And then you have, where does that, oh yeah. And then it says he just mates. So this theme of back rank checkmates, once again, we've seen them. That's something that happens to the very cream of the crop, as well as us lowly mortals. It happened to Geller. It didn't actually happen. This was the variation. This was the threat. But it's very real. It's not something to scoff about. So this game was so crisp, clean, almost utterly simple, right? And what was the underlying anchor of it? What was the point that Fischer won? Right there. One of my all-time favorite features in chess, because I see this, interestingly, not only way back into the mists of time of chess, but it is one of the most dominant themes. The open file, the coordination with the bishops and the queens. Fischer had it. Geller didn't. Fischer won. Geller lost. My suspicion, out of my amateur mind, is there's a connection with open files, 7th ranks, which technically, remember, he was using the 7th rank dominating. So open files and 7th ranks have something to do with really powerful chess. Just a clue for you, my beloved viewers. So there's your chess-er-cise today. Remember, be good, do well, have fun. Thanks, come again. Kiss your mama if she is alive. Mine is. Hug your daddy if he's alive. Mine is not, but I still hug him anyway, every day. So, have a great day, and remember, more chess videos coming down the pipeline. Thanks for watching, man.